It's the story of Native Americans hunting. They cut it up and one of them distributes the heart, liver, and all of the pig's entrails, and they remain happy because they were able to get food for themselves and their tribe. Suddenly, a group of other warriors appear in front of them and stand in front of them, all of them standing ready. But the chief of the tribe comes forward with them and begins to speak and introduces them to his son, the cheetah's claw. He tells them that this forest belonged to his ancestors, remains his, and will remain the property of his children and grandchildren after him. But then, one of his warriors comes out and puts a big fish in front of them, to curse good faith. The cheetah claw comes forward and gives them a piece of what they caught, and one of the warriors talks to the leader of the cheetah claw tribe, and they know that they just want to go back. This is because their tribe was attacked by another tribe, and they are now looking for another place to start their lives again. Cheetah Claw agrees that they are crossing from the forest and reassures them that no one will stand in their way. Cheetah Claw notices that the number of this tribe is very large, and despite their large number, they were afraid to cross. The head of the tribe speaks to Cheetah Claw and advises him not to be afraid of anything because fear is a very dangerous and difficult disease. Getting rid of him and that he must remove this fear from his heart if he really wants to remain the head of the tribe. Night comes, and the tribe remains gathered around an old man from the tribe, and he starts talking to them and telling them stories about their ancestors. He also talks about the customs and traditions that people follow in the tribe. From the words, we understand that they consider the cheetah to be the source of their strength, and that they also try to imitate animals in everything they do because of the strength of each animal. He also advises them that they are satisfied with their lives because the gods love them and help them. The next day, the cheetah's paw wakes up, terrified from a nightmare. Then he hears a sound in the forest, and when he goes out to see what is happening, he is surprised by many people with fire and trying to attack their tribe. He quickly runs to his wife and son to take them quickly and escape without anyone caring. As the warriors began to attack the tribe, they began to beat people, tie them up, and also burn the homes in the tribe. Suddenly, someone entered the tribe's leader and attacked him, but he managed to kill him as well. With the claw of the cheetah, he took his wife and son to a far place, tied them up, and began to lower them into the well quietly, so that no one would feel them. The soldiers attack the entire tribe violently, but they do not want to kill them in order to take them and use them as their slaves. They tie up everyone they catch and kill everyone. Suddenly, one of the soldiers catches the paw of the cheetah as he takes his family to the well. He comes quickly to attack him, and the cheetah's claw is forced to let go of the rope once, but his pregnant wife and son get down safely. The warrior attacks him with brutality, but the cheetah's claw is able to take his weapon and finish him off. He tells his wife and son that he must walk to help his father and his friends, and he will try to return to them as quickly as possible. Unfortunately, the warriors controlled the camp of their tribesmen. His father would be standing and resisting in front of them. But their number was very large, and they had weapons. They thought they would be able to defeat him, and the salvation of one of them would kill him. But he reached the cheetah's claw at the right time and attacked him with all his might, and he can control it. But their leader comes and manages to grab him by the neck and is able to control him. He orders the warriors to tie him with rope. But the warrior comes and wants to kill the cheetah's claw to get his rights. His father was killed in front of him in cold blood. He sees the leopard's claw that is in front of him, but he is unable to do anything. The warrior comes to him and tells him to get ready, because what is coming will be much worse than this. He hits him with the wood he has with him very hard. The cheetah's paw falls to the ground, and he loses consciousness. When he reaches the cheetah's paw, he finds himself tied to a stake with his friends, and they are all crying and shocked by what is happening, and they cannot believe the situation they are in. Then the warriors take all of them and begin to move, tying the women to a stake and the men to a stake alone, and leaving the children alone in the tribe. They begin to move in order to remove what remains of the slave traders, and they surround them from everywhere so that no one can escape from them. At that time, he saw the claw of the cheetah, the man who had given him the fish, before, so he could prepare it. He knows that it is not only them who have gone through this situation, and they start running from the forest and from the river. They were also far from a mountain that was so steep that they would have fallen off it. One of the warriors comes to help them, but they prevent the commander to see if they will be able to save themselves or not. In fact, they can hardly help themselves, and the helper is very happy with them. But they are surprised by someone untying the rope from their injured colleague. He throws it over the mountain and falls dead in the forest. The leader then notices what is happening and comes back to see what is happening. He is very annoyed with his assistant because he lost one of his slaves, and he warns him that he will never do that again to bring them all back alive. Night comes, and the leader talks to his son and tells him that he is very proud of him and makes him understand that he will remain the leader of the tribe after him. He must learn how to lead the warriors with courage so that he can control them. But it seemed to the boy that he was captivated by his words and that he was not as brave or strong as his father. That's why his father decided to hand him his dagger to encourage him. His understanding is that his ancestors belonged to him a long time ago, and his understanding that he has grown up now, and it is time for him to remove his dagger. He is very happy and promises him that he will try to keep the water he gave him. At the same time, Cheetah Claw is talking to his friends, and they are all very upset and feeling ashamed because of what happened to them. But the cheetah's claw tells them that as long as they are still alive, the day will surely come when they take revenge on this tribe. The next day comes and they are on their way to the slave traders, where they encounter a tribe full of people infected with the epidemic. There is a young girl among them, and all the warriors are afraid to approach her so that none of them get infected. When she came to approach them, they held a long stake and were keeping her away from the epidemic she had. When she sees the cheetah's claw, she starts looking at it, focusing on it, and starts talking to the warriors mockingly, because they are all afraid of her. And you start telling them that they will all die first when it is still dark during the day. At that time, they were surprised by her words, and she asked them to guess who the person with the understanding was, because at that time, their entire end would be at the hands of this person. And they are all afraid of her words, because people who are close to death will have their words come true. They continue on their way and reach the city, and they realize that the people who live in the city are very poor. Most of them suffer from diseases and also worship the sun. They take them to a place where there are people who paint all the men blue, and their leader takes the people who are with them and goes to sell them to another slave trader. He starts selling them all at auction in front of all the people. Then they take them to a place where there is a high building with a staircase along the entire length of the building, and the people on top of the building keep beheading people. Their leader comes out and talks to the slaves and informs them that the reason for the spread of diseases is that the gods are angry with them and want the blood of a lot of strong warriors. All the people will chant because they will start killing the warriors, and the gods will forgive them, and the disease will disappear from the city. They start taking one of them, kill him, and take out his heart. They cut off his head, throw it off the building, and then throw him off the top. They start repeating the topic with all of them until it is the turn of the Claw of Understanding. He will be resigned to death because he will not be able to do anything with them. They begin to put him on wood to kill him, but they are surprised by the eclipse of the sun, and the darkness begins during the day, and all the people think that the gods are angry with them, but one of the priests tells them that the gods are happy with them, and she had had enough of blood and was full. Then the sun comes back again and people are very happy. Then they leave the cheetah's claw and the people who stayed with it live. But they are surprised that the leader took a place to get rid of them in his own way, and also to train his warriors on a moving target. It will be a large area similar to a playground, and the end of the road will be the forest. The assistant starts talking to them and makes them understand that if they reach the end of the road without being killed, they will be free and no one will chase them again. Another person runs to wait for them at the end of the road, because whoever can pass without getting infected will be killed as soon as he arrives. The first two of them start running in the wide place to escape death. The warriors begin to attack them with arrows and spears until they are able to kill them with ease. One of the warriors continues to confirm that they are dead. He goes to talk to the assistant who had been attacked by the cheetah's claw before he tells him that it is his turn to face the time in which he will die. He asked him to start running. In fact, he and the person with him start running the cheetah's claw with all his might, But they do not run in a straight line to distract them, and they cannot let them go. But they manage to easily kill the person with him, and also the cheetah's claw gets injured in his side and they both fall to the ground. The leader's son goes to them to complete them, but one of them, who is still alive, is able to grab the leader's son's leg, and the cheetah's claw can break the arrow in his side and hit the leader's son in the neck with it. He thinks he will finish it off at all times. He can also remove the rest of the arrow from his back and begin to gather his strength to escape from them until he reaches the beginning of the forest. The leader is shocked by the death of his son and runs as fast as possible to check on him. He looks at him and is shocked to the point that he takes his last breath and dies. And the leader begins running with the warriors, feeling exhausted, and he cannot believe that he lost his son so easily, and he begins to demand the cheetah's paw in the forest with the utmost of his strength. At that time the cheetah's claw will gather its strength so that it can escape from them, because it will not be able to run due to its injury, but he is surprised that there is a cheetah, so he forgets that he is injured and starts running at full speed, and the leopard will be behind him. Then he sees one of the warriors and alerts the rest, and they all start running after him to kill him. They take revenge for their leader's son, but they are surprised that he is running in their direction, so they stand and wait for him while they are ready. As soon as one of them comes to him, he is surprised by the cheetah in his face, bites him, and kills him. But the warriors gather on the cheetah and begin to attack it until they overpower it and are able to kill it. They then see their friend who died and are very shocked by what happened, until one of them speaks and tells them that the little girl's words are starting to come true. He came down in the middle of the day while the leopard was helping the warrior and attacked him brutally. But their leader speaks to them and tells them that everything that happens is a coincidence. The warrior runs from them because he is afraid that they will kill him, so they start running after the cheetah's claw in the forest. But they are all surprised by a snake attacking one of them. As they move away, they manage to kill the snake, but they all remain very afraid because they are beginning to be sure of the little girl's words, and that the end of what will happen is their death, one after the other. At the same time, the cheetah's claw was able to reach the end of the forest and reached a very huge waterfall. He is also surprised that the warriors have arrived, so he decides that he would jump into the waterfall rather than die at their hands. They all see him and are surprised by what he did, and they are even more surprised when they see in front of them that he was able to save himself from death. He starts talking to them in a loud voice and tells them that the cheetah's claw is the son of the tribe's leader, and he finally reached his forest. His father hunted in the past, and he will start hunting after him. He threatened them that he would kill them all, one by one. But this talk annoys their leader very much, and he orders his men to all follow him and chase him until they kill him. They all fall into the waterfall, but one of them falls on a rock and dies instantly. But the rest are able to reach the beach safely and continue their chase, and the cheetah's claw began to run in his forest. But he falls into a pool full of mud, but he was able to get out of it safely. And then the warriors would reach the forest. They were surprised when he was standing in front of them and holding a large leaf in his hand. He throws it at them, and a very large beehive comes out of it, and the bees start attacking him, killing them all. They escape from bees with difficulty. Then the cheetah grabs a poisoned frog in its claw and begins to plant wood in it, so that its poison remains in the wood. He hides until the soldiers pass in front of him, until he passes the last one. Then he hits him in the neck with a stick and falls dead. He quickly runs to him to take his weapon, but he is surprised by the leader's assistant in front of him. The two stand in front of each other, ready to attack. The two begin to attack each other, and the assistant hits the cheetah's claw with a weapon, but he can pass underneath him and take the weapon of the other warrior. The assistant hits him very hard the second time until he dies. He is surprised at that time that it is starting to rain, so he runs quickly to catch his wife and son before the well fills with water and they die. But they see the leader running and aiming at him with an arrow, and the leader manages to put it in his shoulder, but he is able to gather his strength, remove the arrow from his shoulder, stand in front of the leader, and prepare for war. As the leader grabs his weapon, he begins to attack the cheetah's paw with all his might, but he falls into the trap of the pig and inserts wooden skewers into his body, and the leader dies in the trap of the pig. The warriors reach their leader and are surprised by the sight they saw, but they continue their pursuit until they understand. But the cheetah's claw is able to reach his wife and see her trying to save herself and her son from drowning, and she also gave birth to her second son in the well in the middle of the water filled with rain. He can safely escape to his family and then talk to them and let them know that they will leave the forest and find another place where they can start again. This will be the end of today's movie. I hope you like it, and don't forget to like,